Hi everybody, today I would like to cover the topic briefly about how to fix the piriformis syndrome, and I will show you a couple movements both for the left piriformis muscle and for the right piriformis pain. That is the approach of Postural Restoration Institute. There is a really kind of hard to sometimes to identify what is causing the pain in the right hip. Sometimes it's because of the pinched nerve by piriformis muscle, and sometimes it's because of the so-called disc herniation. And sometimes they both contributing to that discomfort. It's really hard to identify. For that reason, you need to work with the professional. Nevertheless, let's talk about briefly a biomechanical aspect of the piriformis muscles and the piriformis pain. So, under the premise that you have asymmetrical torsion of your pelvis to the right side, and we kind of already discussed that in the previous videos, that we are asymmetrical creatures, and sometimes because of the trauma, your brain will decide to freeze, to stuck with the orientation to the right side, and this pelvis with orientation of the sacrum and lumbar spine to the right side cannot fully rotate back to the left side. The glute max will lose its original position because of the faulty position of your pelvis with the orientation to the right side. Your gluteus maximus will be stretched and elongated and lengthened. When the pelvis is constantly oriented to the right side, stretched and elongated muscle cannot function well, cannot do its job as a main external rotator. But you still got to do the external rotation during the walk. Even though you are orientated all the time to the right side, you still got to perceive world in front of you. You still got to walk straight. So you still got to have the function of external rotation of the foot. So your brain thinks, you know what? Let me replace that lazy bastard, which is your right glute max, with someone else. For instance, right piriformis muscle, which is much smaller muscle, but it also sits on the front part of the sacrum, just under the right gluteus maximus. And since the right piriformis muscle doesn't meant to do that job, sooner or later it will be overworked, and sometimes it causes the pain because it's pinching and compressing the sciatica nerve. And it will cause the pain down the leg, like you would have a true sciatica. So the core task for these kind of individuals with the right piriformis pain will be to learn and to teach them actually to move that right hemipelvis forward by using hip flexors, by using sartorius muscles to correct and to establish new position of their pelvis. Again, long story short, to rectify your wrong position of your pelvis, you got to learn, you got to redo the bad programming, and you got to learn all over again how to do the external rotation of your right hip, but not with the wrong muscles, but with the correct muscles. Hence, you can shut off the piriformis muscle and lose the pain. So firstly, to shut off your right piriformis, you got to move your right hemipelvis forward. It might be painful though. So you have to use the right hip flexors and you have to lift right foot off the wall or off the ground and to use that right hip flexors to shift that pelvis forward. After you achieve that, you have to secure that new position of the right hemipelvis with the activity of the right gluteus maximus by doing external rotation of the right foot. So firstly, you have to lift off the foot from the ground or from the wall. The second exercise, you actually got to press that foot to the ground or to the wall to activate these additional fibers of the right gluteus maximus. So that's how you can secure that new position of the pelvis. But remember, it's still entry level. You have to work individually with the specialist or with the therapist. You need to secure that position of your pelvis with right glute max, which will act as the main external rotator of the right foot. with the pelvis that's being finally established and orientated to the left side. Now, this is the main protocol that we are using for treatment of that kind of patient. Sometimes there is different from patient to patient. We are all different, we all will react differently. For that matter, contact me and we can create a protocol via online of your online rehabilitation program, or come to us to visit us in Poland. Now, let me get straight to the left piriformis pain and why it happens on the left side and which exercises you should do on the left side. If with the right side, the wrong position was causing the piriformis pain because of the compensation, what is going on with the left one? So, under the premise of left AC pattern, which the right torsion to the right side, what is going on with the sacrum bone and what is going on with the left piriformis muscle? The piriformis muscle will be positioned into the compression, meaning the sacrum bone will be positioned poorly, and because of that bad position, your piriformis will be squeezed and shortened all the time. So if the muscles also shorten all the time and doesn't elongate, it shortens, doesn't elongate on the left one here, where the piriformis muscle it sits, it never truly works as an internal rotator. So we need to learn how to do the internal rotation on the left foot correctly, finally, with the left gluteus medius, not the piriformis muscle. But nevertheless, firstly, what you need to do is you need to shut off that piriformis muscle with the new position of the sacrum bone and of the ilium, the left ilium. So you need to place that sacrum bone to the neutral position. Again, here from the front, you need to put that. Of course, what I'm showing is over-exaggeration. Of course, you don't see that on the MRI, on the X-ray. It's just I'm showing how the function is poorly working. So again, you are here, you need to be here by using correct muscle groups, and you need to move that ridge of your ilium to the internal side, to the middle line. When you are moving that ridge to the middle line, you will open that space and you will automatically elongate the piriformis on the left and it will be shut off. So iliacus and left adductor magnus will act as position changer, and then glute med on the left side with the correct muscle activities will act as a secure for that new position. That's it. Let me show you a few motions. Lie on the left side of your body, roll a towel underneath your left side, between your left rib cage and left pelvis. Now, this exercise is extremely reminds the one that you did with the right external rotation to the right glute max. You see that? I already showed you that exercise many times. Remember, you have to feel the ground under your right toe, under your right toe box. Right toe box should be pressing to the ground. This was a right glute max. Now, I want you to move that ridge to the middle line by using iliacus and by using adductor magnus to do that. So for that matter, what I will ask you to do, what you should do, squeeze slightly your left side, as I already showed you in my previous videos. Move that right hip up, but don't press with your right hip and right foot to the wall. It's completely not necessary. What you should do instead, you should just move the right knee forward as compared to the left one, and then move that left knee up towards the right hip. And now your right hip is sitting on the top of the left hip, and now just to maintain your position, this new position, you got to use left adductors and left iliacus. And that's it. Hold that position and feel all of the necessary muscles. Don't do nothing with the right hip at all. The right hip sits on the top of the left one. That's it. Breathing through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, and hold this position for the 5 breaths. And then relax, 30 seconds, repeat 2-3 times. That's it. So this will be a pretty effective exercise for activating your left glute medius. So put yourself on the right side of your body. I will repeat this. Now I want you to put under your left knee 1 or 2 blocks. But make sure these blocks are not too big, because if your left knee will be too high or higher than your left hip, you will spoil the exercise. So the left knee should be on the level of the hip, of the left hip I mean, or slightly lower, but not higher. If it will be higher, you will not feel the necessary muscles activation and you just kill the exercise. Put your right foot on the wall. It could be 90 degree angle, maybe a little bit, maybe less, but nevertheless, put your left knee on the block or blocks and elevate your left foot to the ceiling by slightly pressing, okay, I will show you with the arrows, by slightly pressing left knee into the blocks, lift your left foot to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. Breathe through your nose, breathe out through your mouth and lift it up. Feel the glute medius activation on the left side. With every single breath out, you have to lift it up. So with breathe out, you have to increase the intention of lifting your left foot towards the ceiling. When you do breathe in, you don't have this intention. You're just passively holding your leg in air. I'm just showing you another perspective. In this exercise, it's just necessary to have flat back and to make sure that your knee and hips almost on the same level. The most common mistakes that I see all the time, that people are flexing their hip too much forward and they are completely destroying the exercise.